This looks like a full-out dumpster fire. And why bring Jackson Dart into a dumpster fire? Why wouldn't you let him get practice reps all season long and then bring him in the start of next year? I'll tell you exactly why. Because your general manager and your head coach are trying to save their ass, and they are sacrificing Jackson Dart's future to do that. And this is the owner's fault, because none of this should have been happening.
Hey, you want to split this Subway sandwich?
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. And we're going live here in the greatest city in the world, New York. And remember, it's New York Minute Sports. It's New York sports for New York nuts. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe.
It's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports Talk for sports nuts.
What's going on, guys? We got breaking news of the New York Giants NFL version. Jackson Dart named the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants. And boy, from the category of we knew this was going to happen already, Mr. Unlimited only lasted about 3 weeks. And you know what? It always made me scratch my head when I saw Russell Wilson at the Knicks playoff game wearing a varsity jacket.
Be careful, though. It's spicy.
He was like playing cosplay. Like, I don't know if the New York Giants fans, and let me know in the comments below, I don't know if you guys were fooling yourselves that this guy was going to be the answer at quarterback this year. I know that you guys were talking about it was going to just be like Eli Manning and Kurt Warner, but guess what? Kurt Warner was a lot better than Russell Wilson. You got to remind yourself, Russell Wilson was on the Steelers last year. The Steelers had a better chance of drowning a dolphin than leading the league in offense because their two quarterbacks were Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. So in the New York football scene's infinite wisdom, you let Aaron Rodgers walk out the door and you get the two quarterbacks from the Steelers who were probably the worst offensive team in all of the NFL last year. So you guys knew this was doomed from the beginning. And then you had the Russell Wilson after he left the Seattle Seahawks. He had that monumental disaster for the Broncos where he was doing more social media than anything else. He had a private office. People weren't liking him. And now that you hear all the stories coming out of Seattle from the Legion of Boom, nobody on the team liked him. And Marshawn Lynch was kind of the leader of that team. Russell Wilson's always been a little off.
Broncos country, let's ride.
He's always been a little weird, and it didn't take some commercials to convince me otherwise. You can smell these kind of guys out, and you can tell in the eyeballs by Russell Wilson. And what was crazy is I was looking at the stats, and after 2 games, he was second in the NFL in yards thrown, and that was from 1 game. So Russell Wilson had the bomb ball, and that's about it. But it looks like the game has passed him by. You know what? Russell Wilson always wanted to be a New York Giant because of the market, and he's one of those guys, I think, that thinks he's a lot more talented and a lot more likable than he really is.
Love you, Pete, but it's Mr. Unlimited.
Because he comes off very awkward and weird. So I remember when his first contract was up with Seattle that he wanted to come to the New York Giants, and that was all the talk. But he wound up staying with the Seattle Seahawks, and they wound up going to another Super Bowl. But I think Russell Wilson completely just tried to convince himself that he was still the old Russell Wilson. This Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks, okay, got rid of him. The Seattle Seahawks organization just doesn't get rid of guys for no reason. They have a good franchise, and that they knew that the game had passed Russell Wilson by, and it was only a matter of time. My question is, why don't the Giants go to Winston, the Gabagool, right? Why don't we go to Mr. Gabagool? Instead of going right to Dart.
Gabagool from The Sopranos. Gabagool.
Gabagool.
Yeah.
A gabagool. A gabagool. 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 For Thanksgiving, that's going to be epic.
Like, you have Jameis Winston, who can definitely give you 400 yards passing. He might throw 6 picks, but he will give you offensive production. He will move the ball, and I think he's better than Russell Wilson at this point. So the Giants are going to go with Jackson Dart, but this is the problem. Schoen and Daboll will do anything to save their jobs, so they're going to throw Jackson Dart to the sacrificial lamb with this offensive line. Giant fans, NFL fans, let me know in the comments below. Do you think it's safe for Jackson Dart to start playing in front of this offensive line that the New York Giants have? Because I don't. You know, we saw it happen with RG3. We see it happen with other quarterbacks. When they don't get a good offensive line in front of them, you could really make them gun shy and you can hurt their development. Right now, the New York Giants aren't doing anything. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL, okay? Their defense is supposed to be their strong point, and they're not even playing defense. This looks like a full-out dumpster fire. And why bring Jackson Dart into a dumpster fire? Why wouldn't you let him get practice reps all season long and then bring him in the start of next year? I'll tell you exactly why. Because your general manager and your head coach are trying to save their ass, and they are sacrificing Jackson Dart's future to do that. And this is the owner's fault, because none of this should have been happening, okay? You have Russell Wilson. You should have stuck with him. You got him in the offseason for a reason. Then you have Jameis, who's another veteran in front of him. If it's going to be this kind of season, then you need to throw those veterans out there who have been on bad teams and know what it is to get through a season. You could ruin Dart's confidence. You could ruin his physical ability. You could hurt him. Hey, listen, don't get me wrong. Jackson Dart could come in and he could be guns blazing and the Giants go everywhere. But I don't see that happening, okay? I don't see that happening with Jackson Dart. In fact, I see him running for his life all season long because the New York Giants don't have an answer at the offensive line. How long have the New York Giants needed an offensive line, probably since Tom Coughlin, and needed a middle linebacker? What, forever? So now, you know what, man? I don't like the fact if you had a coach that you just got and you had him for the next 5 years with a new GM and they were building towards something, I would like this move. But I think this move is not good for the Giants fans. This move is not good for Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart doesn't know any better. He is definitely asking the New York Giants for the keys to the car, and they will give it to him. But I don't think either party is rational enough to make that decision, to be honest. And I think the New York Giants are letting Jackson Dart down by putting him in and throwing him to the wolves so goddamn quick.